What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. All right, buckle up. This one goes, why young people don't have hope for the future. This should be fun.
This is why young people don't have hope in the future. And let me preface by saying that doomsdayers have always existed and they've always been proven to be wrong. All right? But the difference is that doomsdayers of old were waiting on some kind of catastrophe to happen, like a nuclear war or a comet or whatever the case is. Now, doomsdayers, and the reason that people don't have hope for the future is because it seems like we are trying to destroy ourselves as a species from the inside out. It's like the enemy for the first time is coming from inside the house. It's not going to be some kind of external disaster. It's going to be us literally destroying ourselves because we see what the system has become, that there's just a couple of people pulling the strings, and all those people seem to be interested in is getting us to Mars and replacing us with AI. And
Okay. I honestly think he's kind of got a point. Like anybody that thought the world was going to end, like it's safe to say 30 years from now, we'll probably still be here and we'll probably still have to be maneuvering through the future society of whatever that looks like. But to be fair, I don't think it's just like in our heads, right? Let's not forget what happened 5 years ago. If you weren't wearing a mask, you were like ostracized. You were exiled. Businesses were shut down. People lost their jobs. Not to mention jobs. Oh, there was a point in time where you would get one job and then that job would be there for till you retire. Now you're sitting here going, I don't even know what job I'll do. I don't even know if this job I'm doing here is going to be even prevalent or exist in 5 years. Same with so many other jobs. So that's a big one also. And no hope for the future. Let him finish it out. But just to be fair, let's not forget with 2020, just how catastrophically things can just change like that. And it happened once. Who's to say it couldn't happen again? To be fair on that. So I don't think it's just like in our heads, right? So, to be fair.
instead of actually bettering the human experience, it's like we look at what's happening, and I'm not trying to be doomsday. Like, I try to be optimistic. There could totally be a utopian future that we have where we figured out how to augment AI with our human life and we don't have to work and all these things. That could totally happen. But we look at the leadership now and the people who are in charge, and they seem to be more interested in sending Katy Perry to space than they are in getting us affordable health care.
Space babes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard for people to look at the future and have hope when it seems like we're not even trying to be people anymore. We're all completely connected and addicted and dependent on our phones. They want it that way. They want us addicted so that they can continue to sell us stuff and that we can be good little sheep. They're not interested in actually using our intelligence and how smart we are as a species to actually create a good experience for most people. It seems like they're much more interested in having us become cyborgs. And on top of that, people don't have money and they're not accruing wealth. So how can I look forward to the future when I can't even think about having money right now or in 10 years from now? So you combine those things, and yes, people look at the future and go, not really sure what that's going to look like. So I should probably just find a way to enjoy today. And that means that I'm going to just put all my stuff on credit.
He's got a point. But you're going to live for today whether you want to or not. But I think a big thing about like this talk about the future, since we're young, it's always been about the future. Kindergarten, first grade, then middle school's coming up. What do you want to do? You know what you want to be when you grow up? Ask me what I want to be when I grow up when I'm in fifth grade. Are you ready for college? What are you going to do in college? I don't fucking know. It's like a constant, I think the big constant, always thinking of the future versus living for now, which the joke is you're living right now, whether you want to or not. So I think that is one positive thing before we hop into the comments here. That's something that always kind of drove me nuts. And it even does today, is the constant worrying of the future. That that is the biggest problem, at least that I've had. I don't know about you. We just met. What's up? How you doing? But that kind of drives me not crazy, but it makes me almost care less. I'm almost just like, you know what? I'm just doing this for as long as I have to. And if I have to pivot careers again, that's the big one too. You got to pivot your fucking job every 5 years. You don't have to. There are certain jobs that'll be there for probably ever, to my knowledge, or it probably won't. Not to mention, we live in a. I understand why kids just don't care. Like they're why even bother worrying about the future? All we've ever done was worry about the fucking future instead of just now. I guess you have to, in a sense. Like, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm like, okay, let me do my best to save so that 30 years from now I'll be all right, because there's a high probability that it will be there when I get there and the world will still be chilling and moving and grooving. There's a high probability that that's going to be the case. So, but I get where younger people are coming from, and I'm not that young. I'm 35. If you're 19, you're like, this guy's basically dead. And I'm still like, I get where you're coming from. All right, let's look at the comments. Nothing worse than having a job with a 401k match, yet don't pay you enough to actually be able to invest into it. Yeah, that's fucked up. Here we go. Bettering the human experience isn't profitable, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a big one, man. Money, 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 money. I'd say 90% of our problems are money. Like if your job was able to provide you a comfortable life, dude, life's fucking beautiful. Like right now, I'm in a position where I don't have to work 2 jobs, which I used to for a long time. And I still managed to enjoy my life. I was always kind of like, well, I got to be here. I'll still enjoy. At least I'm not going to be angry about it. Just come here and try and enjoy what I have here, right? Like this much fun in this little space. Like what can you make out of your situation? But I'm in a position now where I'm making great money. I'm comfortable. I'm cool. As comfortable as I've ever been. Besides when my parents used to pay for everything. That was pretty sweet. That was a long time ago. But I even think about that. I try not to, but I do think about, I hope this is here. I hope this is still viable, right? Like you start making great money and you can sustain yourself. And then you think to yourself, oh man, am I going to have this job in 5-7 years? Like just like that, everything can just be taken from you. And then getting it back is like, it's not a joke. It's possible, but that's something people deal with more now than ever. That's for sure. Like people who get laid off, and let's say they're making 120 a year. They've been there for years. They get laid off. That same job, A, either they can't get one, or B, they got to take a $30,000 a year pay cut. That's normal now. It used to be, I'm going to leave this job to make more money. Now it's like, no, I just got fired. I'm going to go make less money doing the same job for more hours. So that's beautiful. This is nothing new. Historically, there's always been greedy and power-hungry people. The difference is back before the people weren't afraid to stand up and even resort to violence. Yeah, just put the mask on, dude. Don't go to jail. Just pay your taxes. Don't go to jail. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go to jail. I get that, right? Like, who's going to... Even if people wanted to revolt, how many people are going to be like, yeah, let's get our guns and go out there and, like, show them who's boss? It's risky. Like, I'm thinking about that now. I'm like, oh, man, like, we might be in a cage the rest of our lives. When a country, and even further, a Western society doesn't pay its young people enough money to afford a place to live and food to eat, there should be a revolution. The modern young people have not had that. Well, I think Gen X is kind of slept on. Gen X is the one where it's like they've done everything, not according to the book, but they kind of had that they're reaching what we're reaching now, but they're at a older age. And I feel like they've been duped the hardest. At least millennials, and where I'm at in Gen Z, we've kind of are young enough to go, yeah, I might be working forever. And then there is the argument of people who work longer, stay sharp and all that, but that's horseshit. That's a cope, right? You don't want to have to be stressing about money when you're 63. which unfortunately, for the first time in a long time, a lot of people are doing. I know there's always been the outliers. Not every boomer just made it, okay? But for the most part, they could, working at Kinko's, which that's unheard of today, unless you're the president. If we don't work on climate change, chill with that. Last thing I'm worried about is climate change. We're worried about the economic conditions changing to where we could make enough money to be chill enough to not stress out every week. It's because the elite is ruining our first world countries. Endless third world immigration, increased taxes, increased cost of living, housing prices are unattainable. All those makes the rich richer. Yeah, it's funny because the more things inflate, people with assets get richer, but then the poor people further away, they get poorer. So if you have assets, you're doing great. You love inflation. You're fucking money making money. All right. It's crushing knowing that I live in one of the most resource dense free countries in the world, but the system is designed to keep the boot on your neck. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave this guy's info down below, but I just think it's kind of like, my big one is always being conditioned to constantly think of the future, which you do have to plan ahead. I understand that. But I think a lot of young people, including myself when I was younger, I was so tired of like, do you know what you're going to be doing? Are you preparing for that? It was almost like instead of enjoying the day and kind of doing what I'm doing now, I had to always just think about the future. And now it's kind of hard to it's hard to really sit down deep and think about it when you're not even sure if that's going to be there. That's where I'm kind of getting at. So I totally understand it. You guys leave your thoughts. For instance, like what I'm doing here. I try not to think about it, but I do. It's like, I'm making enough money. Why do I need to continuously think like, oh, I need to make more and more and more? Then on top of that, I go, well, what if I get there and then this job's gone? And then I got to start all over again. That's the nightmare, in my opinion. And so I just try not to think about it. I think about it as little as I have to. I prep as much as I need to. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I wouldn't be surprised if some other kind of pandemic mask-wearing situation of some sort would happen again. And things get all fucked up. And then I got to pivot again. I wouldn't doubt it. But it's not going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop anything. Like 30 years is still going to, like, if you live through that, things are still going to be, we're still going to have to maneuver. Anyways, solid talk. I'll leave this dude's info down below. I'm tapping out. Fucking happy Saturday or whatever day today is. Unreal.